Welcome. Good to be with you.
Every few weeks they come before the banking committee and you bring up the fact that what they're doing is destroying us. What do we need to do to bring the private Federal Reserve under control?
Well, it has to be an uprising by the people. There has to be enough people who will demand that their congressmen respond, and that is building. A year ago or two, nobody in Washington even thought about the Federal Reserve. Today, there's a lot more thinking going on and a lot more support for our position, so it is growing. And yet, we're not on the verge of changing it. I have the bill to get rid of the Federal Reserve. That's the major step and the ultimate step. And they'll probably self-destruct before we actually pass legislation. But the bill that is more important in the short run is the auditing bill, the 1207 bill, because that means they have to start answering our questions. Today, they're protected. They're in total secrecy, and they're protected by the law. If 1207 is passed, we have an audit, and they have to answer the questions. And I figure if we ever get that far and get the exposure and get the transparency that we need, then people will wake up and realize, why do we have them at all?
Senator Sanders grilled them, as you know, last week, saying that he's supporting 1207 or a version in the Senate because Bernanke, private Fed chief, just said, I'm not going to tell you where the money went, buddy. I mean, that's amazing to see our elected Congress, the most powerful branch of government, according to the founders, being told, kiss off.
Right. And I know Sanders real well. He was on the banking committee with me before he went into the Senate, and I called him after that. And I believe he has now introduced my version of the transparency bill, and I've introduced his version. So both bills exist. Mine's a little bit more conclusive, and it removes the total authority for them to not answer questions. His is specifically designed to answer certain questions and reveal where the $1 trillion went. They're very similar, but somewhat different in nature. So we both support each other's bill, and they've been introduced in both chambers.
Well, public support for this, and the Congress itself, the majority are saying they're angry to not know where the money is, and Bloomberg sued to find out and has been told no on their FOIA. I mean, if this gets media attention, I could see no way that Congress wouldn't vote for a proper audit of the private Federal Reserve.
No, they're going to if we can get it that far. And, it's a good issue. So, like so many of our issues, we bring different factions together, liberal and conservatives, under the Constitution. Because if you're a good, honest liberal like Bernie Sanders, he's an honest person, but he's very, very liberal and calls himself a socialist. But he agrees on the transparency issues. So this whole idea that we expose them should bring populists, libertarians, constitutionals, liberals, socialists, all together and say, if we can't do this, what's left of representative government? There's nothing left. So it's a good unifier. I think it's a great issue.
Bloomberg reports $9.7 trillion has disappeared in one form or another just out of the U.S., another $10 trillion globally. And now Larry Summers is saying they want more money, they want more unlimited cash.
That's what they're doing. They keep coming back, and what's the argument you hear up here? You hear this argument, which I know there's some disagreement even in our circles, this whole idea of earmarks. They're dealing with these 1% of earmarks. If you vote against them all, you don't cut one penny of spending, and they're talking about that endlessly. They're holding up the bill in the Congress over this so-called issue. At the same time, this number that you mentioned, the $9.7 trillion, we need to earmark every penny there.
Stay there, Congressman, stay there.